We'll next build a countdown timer. Let's imagine that we're running a diagnostic test on a car's engine, and it takes a specific amount of time to complete. We'll write a Python program that simulates a timer for such a diagnostic test, counting down until the test is complete. This type of timer is useful for simulating real-world processes, whether it's for car diagnostics or a maintenance task. To create our diagnostic countdown, we'll use Python's time module, which allows us to control time in our program. Specifically, we'll use time.sleep to pause the program and simulate the passing of time. The time.sleep function pauses the program for a specified number of seconds. We'll use this to simulate the time taken for the diagnostic test to complete. Let's start by asking the user for input. Imagine the user is an automotive technician who is about to run the diagnostic test. We'll ask them to enter how many seconds the test will take, and we'll use that input to start the countdown. Here's how we ask the user's input in Python. We'll ask the technician how long the test will take, and then convert the input into an integer. We'll first indicate that this step 10 is where we're going to learn about a countdown timer. Normally we would put this import statement at the top of the program, but since we're trying to keep everything separated to make it easier to learn, we're going to put import time right here. Next, let's add a comment just so we know what we're doing at this part of the code. We'll then create a variable called test duration. We will set that equal to an integer since the input is going to come back to us as a string. Now that we have the time for the diagnostic test, we need to create a while loop that counts down the time simulating the test running. We will subtract 1 second from the remaining time after each iteration and print the progress of the test. So here's the while loop. And we'll base that on the test duration variable. We will continue to go through the loop while test duration is still greater than 0. Then let's print off information to know where we are in the timer. Now we're going to sleep for 1 second. And then we need to decrease the number of test durations by 1. Let's review the code. We print a message showing how much time is left for the diagnostic test. We use time.sleep 1 to pause the program for 1 second, simulating the real-time progress of the test. After each loop, we reduce the remaining test time by 1 second using test duration minus equals 1. Once the countdown is complete, we'll print a final message telling the technician that the diagnostic test is done. So let's add that final message right here. Once the while loop finishes, we print diagnostic complete, check the results, to let the technician know the test is done. Now let's run the program and simulate a diagnostic test by entering a countdown time. You'll see how the program prints the time remaining during the test and finishes with a final message when the test is done. We'll run the program. Here we'll enter in 5 seconds. The timer counts down from 5 to 1, printing the time during the diagnostic process. When the countdown reaches 0, it prints diagnostic complete, check the results. So to recap, we use the input function to ask the technician for the test duration. We created a while loop to count down from that time, simulating the diagnostic process. We used the time.sleep function to pause the program for 1 second between each iteration. Finally, we printed diagnostic complete, check the results when the test was finished. This type of timer can be adapted to a variety of automotive tasks, whether it's for diagnosing service intervals or timing specific processes.